So I'll reset 78.6 FM Yomaton. This is for the YouTube viewers. 78.6 FM Yomaton, Positive Vibes of Winsome. And I just got back, so it's my first day back in the radio station, of course. I was over in the U.S. for a few weeks. Got a chance to go hang out and teach some really cool workshops for the Casa Grande School District. Thank you so much for having me. From talking to the class, the high school students of all ages, the AVID, the advancement via individual determination students. Myself, I was a part of that group when I was a freshman in high school and continued throughout my high school time. And to be able to go back full circle and teach workshops to those guys. And the message was simple for the schools. It was limitless, right? And when you hear that, what does that mean to you? Limitless. The message I was trying to, of course, come with was you can be, do, or have anything you put your mind to, which is what I tell you if you listen to me every week or if you follow me on my website. You can be, do, or have anything you put your mind to if you fight for it, right? So have that opportunity to talk to the next generation, to go back to this Arizona school district and talk to these kids and be able to tell them what I tell you every single week, but with a different type of energy, right? Got a chance to throw the thumb ball around. Shout out to thumball.com. Shout out to Headquarters Air Force Recruiting. Shout out to trainerswarehouse.com. Shout out to the Casa Grande School District. And, of course, shout out to my team here at Kadena Air Base for allowing me to go and take this time to give back to the community and to the next generation. It's a beautiful opportunity. It was a wonderful experience. Secret that I didn't put out there, of course, it was one of those that I didn't post pictures for, but I had an amazing opportunity. First time it was on my vision board, on my goal sheet to do. It was to go and speak to the juvenile detention centers. For a lot of people, they might not see why this is important, right? Why is it so important to go and speak to the youth that are in the juvenile detention centers? And I'll say someone who, during my time as a teenager, had that little window where I was making bad decisions, right? And I'm not ashamed to say it because we're all human. We all make mistakes. And I love this quote. It was from Professor X, X-Men, if you guys haven't watched that movie. It was called Days of Future Past. And they brought the same quote back for the most recent Marvel movie, which was, of course, Doctor Strange. And that was an amazing movie, by the way. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's not what you expect. You're definitely not going to get what you expect from this movie. And I'll tell you, Multiverse of Madness, if I forgot that piece, the Doctor Strange movie. But in that movie, and in the X-Men Days of Future Past movie, Professor X had a statement, a quote that he said, and I love it. It stuck with me from the first time I heard it. He said, just because you stumble and lose your way doesn't mean you're lost forever, right? And that, to me, it boom, right, hit me in the chest, because we're human. Just because you stumble and lose your way doesn't mean you're lost forever. Now, when you're talking to teens, when you're talking to these folks who are growing, these young adults who are growing and they're making decisions, and some of them aren't going to be the right decisions, they have to learn from those, right? And sometimes the environment plays a huge role in decisions that people make, right? Because what we see as a different environment as right may not be exactly what's being seen in the environment that these young men and women live in. So the opportunity to go back, just listen to me, man. The opportunity to go back and speak to these young adults, these 16, 17, about to be 18-year-olds, haven't even been out there and experienced anything yet. And all they see every day is the institution that they're in because of decisions that they made. So for someone to come from all the way from Japan and to talk to these young adults about it's okay. You see, the decisions you make right now, not yesterday, not weeks ago, not months ago, but the decisions you make right now are the ones that are going to matter for your future. You can flip the switch. You can decide right now that you're going to change. And to hear it, it's not like you hear in the movies where somebody comes in and they're you can change right now. I wasn't in there with no fake energy. I was meeting them where they were at. I had to literally put myself in their shoes for a minute, because when you walk in, you see them. They don't know who this guy is. Who's this bald guy walking in here? All these Air Force. See it from his shirt, right? Who's this guy? What's he talking about? So I wanted to keep it 100 with them. And I did that the entire time. I was very open, very vulnerable, very honest. And I told him there was a lot of decisions I made when I was your age that I wish I could change. However, if I would have changed those decisions and those steps, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. And honestly, where I'm at in my life, I wouldn't change a thing. Family, friends, experiences, the journey, the opportunities. I needed to go through this. I needed to feel this in order to move forward. So with today's segment, man, this first segment, of course, just because you stumble and lose your way doesn't mean you're lost forever. So having that message for the young juvenile detention center, young adults, and then Limitless, of course, was my message for the high school students. It was an awesome opportunity. The football team, shout out to the Casa Grande High School freshman team. I know you're going to do great things this year. I saw it in your eyes, man. I saw how hungry y'all were getting ready for the spring workout. Man, let me tell you something. I was talking to these kids, and we were doing the boom, boom, clap. And, of course, it's a different energy when I'm talking to them, right? Because this is sports. It's not the classroom life. There's a whole different world going on when you're on a football field. So their message was even different. Their message was focused on team building. Right? How do you build this team up? What do you do with the weakest player on your team? And I'm not talking about weak and just he ain't got no skills. I'm talking about like maybe weak-minded discipline. How do you build that person up so that that person is an asset and a strength and a muscle on this body that you call a team? And when they heard it that way, right? Because I was listening for a little bit. I saw who the kid that couldn't catch or the kid that wasn't running the right workout, doing it, and the older kids, or I wouldn't even say older because they're all freshmen. The bigger kids, more experienced football players, were kind of dogging them. Come on, yeah. How do you take that same energy to motivate? And how do you make your weak link strong? So that message was different. I'm telling you, that experience that week in Arizona, Casa Grande School District, man, that experience changed my life. Juvenile Detention Center, shout out to you, Maricopa County Juvenile Detention Center. That was such a blessing and an honor to be able to speak to those kids. Bring it all full circle for me, from Avid, Juvenile Detention Center, the football team, and just being in the presence of the next generation. It was so humbling. I'm so honored and I'm so grateful, and I'll never forget that. My last stop, should I say, was over to Luke Air Force Base. Thank you so much for the invite. Luke Air Force Base. Had the opportunity to speak to the folks there about emotional intelligence, which you guys know how important that is to me. EQ, emotional intelligence, right? Then I had the chance to teach 2 different workshops there. Also taught about self-care. Wow. Self-care. And this month is what? This is the Mental Health Awareness Month. So speaking about self-care, right? Such a great group, especially the EQ group. I had so much fun with that team. So shout out to Luke Air Force Base Career Assistance Advisors. You guys were amazing. The setup was great. The students there were great. And it was ranking from different ages and ranks in the room. So everybody's experience and conversation was so much fun. I walked away feeling empowered. To know that at least they can carry something and take something with them, right? Hopefully they walked away feeling empowered with that. I walked away feeling great. It was a great experience. So I'll tell you this is my first week back. So I get back to Okinawa, right? And I'll tell you, I got to hang out. Phoenix, thank you. Phoenix was a great opportunity. I got to see my little ones. And in that time with them, I took them to this theme park called I forget, it's Great Wolf Lodge or something like that. Basically, it's an indoor water park. Now, remember, here in Okinawa, I'm not around a bunch of kids. I don't have a bunch of kids around. But the one thing I will tell you from daycare on up is there's always colds or germs or flus or some runny nose thing going on with the kids, right? It's just a thing. It's because they're kids. They all play together. Germs are not a thing like it is for us adults, right? For the kids. So I tested for COVID, of course, coming back negative. I landed, tested again. It was negative. Going into the weekend, man, of course, I woke up, right? Throat was hurting, headache, eyes red, bloodshot when I got up. I was like, yo, I got COVID. No, that was the worst, the scariest feeling in the world. Like, I just got back. First of all, I wanted to make sure, so I hydrated. Sunday, I felt a little better. I thought, okay, maybe I just have a cold. I wear my mask, right? There's no such thing as a cold or flu anymore, right? It's the saddest thing about our reality. There's no such thing as a cold or flu anymore. So I take I wasn't thinking. I'm thinking this is my first week as the Career Assistance Advisor for Kadena Air Base, one of two. My first week. Let me go in here and represent. I don't want to be like, hey, I know I've been gone a whole week, but now I'm going to show up and I'm going to leave because I'm sick. I might have COVID. So I want to see how I felt. If I had a fever or any of the other circumstances outside of this normal cold, then I was going to, check it back. I woke up Monday. When I first got up, I felt all right. I was coughing, of course, throughout my sleep. Then when I got to work, it was just, it wasn't as bad. As I'm up and moving, it was just a dry cough. It wasn't nothing. I didn't think anything of it. Then I got that phone call from one of my teammates that was sitting right next to me on the plane, basically. And she goes, hey, I don't know if you know, but I popped positive for COVID. What? So I'm freaking out, right? I'm like, let me call, get myself set up, get tested, because what I thought might have just been a cold might have been something more severe. It took them 3 days to tell me that I was COVID negative. Thank God, of course. I'm so grateful and thankful. But it took 3 days to get my results back. So if I was, of course, COVID, I couldn't be here today speaking to you. So it's a blessing to have this opportunity. But I will tell you this, man, that was a crazy, crazy feeling. And being here with the mask on and the way we live in Okinawa, it's not the same in the United States, right? In the United States, they don't take the same measures. So, of course, those little colds that we've been able to avoid for so long, I haven't had a cold in years. I haven't had the flu in years. So those germs that we haven't experienced out here kicked my butt because my body wasn't used to it anymore. And these new strains, of course, right? So I say all that to say this, man. I'm glad to still be on my feet. I'm so grateful for the opportunities over in Arizona. I'm so grateful to be back on the island safely. I'm so grateful to be healthy. I'm so thankful to be back in the booth. I don't know if my voice sounds a little different. I was coughing a lot this week, but I'm so grateful to be back here. I'm so amazed at how kind everyone has been welcoming me back, welcoming me into the new job. I'm really excited about the new opportunities for 2022. We're not even halfway through the year yet, and it has just been amazing. So I'm excited to see what happens next, right? 78.6 FM, Yoma Time, positive vibes of Winston. Coming back, man, I didn't do my first segment. Thumball asked me some questions, right? Ask myself questions, answering for you, the listeners. So we'll do that when we come back. Then we'll talk about what else is going on in positive vibes land, right? Yo, I really missed you guys. I can't say that enough. I missed this time with you in the booth, and I'm really excited to continue doing this for the next couple of weekends, getting some momentum built back, man. 78.6 FM, positive vibes. We'll be back right after this break. 78.6 FM Yoma Time, positive vibes of Winsome. See, a lot of people doing it. Hey, a lot of people are doing great things. Shout out to everybody who's out there and living their dreams. With COVID being lifted a little bit, COVID restrictions, I'm so glad to see people traveling again. I'm so glad to see people taking opportunities to do things outside of their normal comfort zones again. Just amazing to see it. And one of the things I got to see recently, the weather here is rain season here in Okinawa, right? So if you're coming back to Okinawa, it's been rainy nonstop since I've been back. You get a little 30-minute break, 2-hour break every here and there of no rain, but it's still wet outside. So everything's going to be greener in a few weeks. I will tell you that. Everything will be a lot greener in a few weeks. So if you're just tuning in, 78.6 FM Yomaton. I quoted one of my favorite quotes from the X-Men Days of Future Past, the movie, and most recently, Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness. Let me get that correct. I saw that movie last weekend with my MPF team when I got back. And, of course, I was feeling all right that day, right? And no coughing, so I was cool. But I'm going to tell you something about that movie, man. That movie is definitely not what you expect. It had some spooky elements to it. It was carrying over some of the Marvel series if you watch Disney Plus, but it was a fun ride. I will say that. I had a really good time watching it. Get up and do something. Let me reverse that. Get up, get out, and do something. I don't let the rain predict my movement, right? You still got to do stuff. You still got to live. You still got to go out and find things that you can do. What I tell you a few weeks back, I said, hey, don't worry about what you can't do. Start focusing in on what you can do. And when you do that, the world opens up because you're not looking at your limitations. You're starting to realize that you can do anything still. You have a whole lot more options than you paid attention to, right? So for me, I was running errands today because, I was locked down all week waiting my COVID test, running errands, seeing all the flyers about some really cool stuff, looking at what I want to do next. We got a 4-day weekend coming up here in Okinawa for my team. And so I'm excited about that. I definitely want to go and do something if I'm not in some kind of training or class. I definitely want to see something different for the 4-day weekend. But without further ado, right? I don't got no sound effects in here. Hey, thumball.com. As you guys know, Positive Vibes Radio Show, we have a collaborative partnership with thumball.com and trainerswarehouse.com. And I love you guys. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I took all of these with me. I had a bag full of balls. My bag broke. I need to order another one. My bag broke while I was gone, but I will tell you, I took them all with me. The students loved them. I didn't use them for the football team. I will be honest, because the vibe in there was a little different. It's definitely different, but I did use it from all the classes, and it was a great opener. Just great discussion. And then I used them also when we got back to the base. So Luke Air Force Base got a taste of them. You guys are going to see some orders because everybody's like, where do you get those? It was really cool. Hold on, let me adjust my mic. So that was my time in Arizona using these. But now that we're back, it's where it gets fun, right? Got to ask myself these questions. Wherever my left thumb lands. And the first question is a major decision. So a major decision that I've had to make recently. I'm doing this 4 times. A major decision I had to make recently. Most of y'all know coming back to the Air Force was a major decision for me. I was on my way out with a 1 August retirement date. Had everything planned out, had a lot of things in the works, a lot of wonderful opportunities, and I was just building a lot of networking, a lot of planning, a lot of communicating, a lot of Zoom meetings. Oh, man, I haven't been on Zoom as much as I was on Zoom this past 9 months, and probably altogether my life. I spent so much time on interviews and conversations and planning meetings. Zooms have became my best friend for a minute, right? But it was a blessing to experience that, because now I can bring those things back to the United States Air Force, to when I'm taking care of our folks who are transitioning or who want to know how to do certain things or trying to get certified in certain things. So it's a blessing in disguise, and none of that time was in vain, right? So that was a major decision that I had to make coming back. What else we got? Let's go. Bam. Thumb lands on. What do you love or hate about travel? Great question. So traveling, I can travel all day, different locations and places. I love to get there. But oh my gosh, the logistics and going, travel regulations, the COVID test, the stops, the waiting in line. If you're taking certain airlines like the ones we take on base, you got to be there so early and wait in so many different lines and do so many different things. So for me, I guess the waiting and the logistics behind traveling, I love to go places. I love to be there and experience different things. But yeah, the logistics, that's what I hate about traveling. I love seeing new things, experiencing new things, meeting new people, the journey, right? All right, let's go. What you got? Most memorable moment. I'll say holding my kids for the first time. Seeing them for the first time. It's a mix of emotions that you go through, right? And you know it's not about you anymore. Or if you're in a couple or relationship, it's not about y'all anymore. Everything changes. It's a game changer. Finding out that I had a daughter for the first time. Oh my gosh, that's complete game changer, especially from some guy who, has been through the dating game and understands how critical it is out there. Oof. Yeah, that's the most memorable moment. I think for a lot of people that is, because that changes everything for you. Your whole purpose in life changes when you have little ones, right? If you're a good parent. All right, check this out. Last one, going with the right hand. Something you did that got you in trouble. None of y'all business. I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna switch that one. Which age at which you became an adult? Ooh, the age in which I became an adult. It's a very tricky question. I guess that comes down to what responsibilities actually said I'm an adult now. I think I was 19 when I joined the military, had to get out on my own. Going to college for that time, I wouldn't count that because I was still kind of reliant on my family for a lot of things. But I think 19, I had to get up, get out, be an adult, learn the lessons, apply the lessons, take the licks, right? 19, yeah. For a lot of us to join the military, that's when we have to gear up, we learn. There's a lot of them that don't. There's a lot of 18 and 19 that come in and they still got that same mentality from high school. But I think I did a shift. I had that little time in college. I was kind of a leader when I came into the military. So I kind of grew on that, expanded on that. All right, I'll do one more for this segment since we skipped the first segment. One more. Bam. Least favorite mode of transportation. Least favorite mode of transportation. Probably, that's a good one. Ooh, I love flying. I can fly anywhere. I enjoy the train. I actually enjoyed the buses because of the views. So I don't really know that one. I'll say the scariest one. I'm an experienced guy. If you know me, you know I like different experiences. So Gene Dwiggins, this is a shout out for my big brother Gene. I asked one of my mentors, Ann Lacey, I wanted to know why people love riding on motorcycles so much. I wasn't a fan. I heard all the horror stories of riding motorcycles and the dangers of it, but I wanted to experience it, right? Because I'm that guy. I want to experience things. So I asked Gene and Ann to set me up with a motorcycle ride, and we did that. So I'm riding the motorcycle on the back of Gene's bike, holding on to Gene tight like this. If you can see me on YouTube, I'm connecting my arms with my hands. And I remember being so frightened, so scared being on the back of that motorcycle because I'm thinking in my head, anything can happen. And it's just you, the open road, and whatever helmet material you got. And the worst case scenarios were just playing out in my head, right? On a motorcycle. I never got out of my own head on that trip. So I think that was my least favorite mode of transportation is riding on a motorcycle. Some people love it, right? Some people love riding on a motorcycle. They love being free. The freedom, the air, the wind, the earth, the space, and the speed. It scared the heck out of me. I will tell you that. I enjoy every other mode of transportation. Again, which ball is this? This is the Getting to Know You ball for thumball.com, trainerswarehouse.com, Silver Series. I love you guys, and thank you for trusting me with this. I'll send you this clip. Had a lot. I always have fun with these things, man, and it gives me an opportunity to talk about some things on the air and when I'm in a classroom. So, hey, you can't go wrong with those two teams, man. Trainer's Warehouse and Thumball.com. 78.6 FM Yomaton. Positive vibes of Winsome. What's been going on? Watching some new things on TV. So I was locked down, so of course I'm working from home. I saw this crazy movie on Netflix. I think it's called Our Father, about the doctor who's helping women have babies, but he was using his own genes to make these babies. That was probably the craziest thing I've seen in a long time. If you haven't seen it yet, there's 94 kids out there and counting from this guy's shenanigans. Our Father, Netflix. Really, I'm rewatching some things right now. Me and one of my brothers here on the island, we're watching Halo, which is a really cool show. I just got the kids on video. I got them, I guess, a new cartoon out for the kids called The Bad Guys. That looked really cute, so I got them watching that. It's a lot of cool things on, a lot of really, really cool things coming out, not only just in the theater, but on, of course, Netflix and Amazon. So it's going to keep me busy for that escapism that I try to do when I'm not working on the speech, working on the shows, or, here in the booth or at work, right? Let's start with there. If I'm not at work or in the booth or working on speeches, those are things I like to do to escape. I ain't going to lie. A lot of people hype themselves up, man, and say they're always reading. And I know a lot of these cats, hey, man, it's great, but you have to let loose. You got to let your mind escape into something fun for a while. Just call it escapism. You got to do something, see something, experience something that's outside of your norm, right? It's a different kind of rush. It's fun. You got to have fun with life, and you got to enjoy those things. Yes, those books are serious. There's a lot of great things out there to read. I'm doing audio books right now as well. But at the same time, you got to have fun. You got to do something. You got to switch it up every once in a while and keep it loose, man. And I encourage everyone to find something that you want to go ahead and escape with. It could be a book, podcast, show, movie, whatever. Escape every once in a while. It's an amazing thing, and it's good for your brain to do that. It grows, right? You're not doing the same monotonous things every single day. 78.6 FM. Second segment, we talked about our Thumball Trainers Warehouse representative and the love and the trust that they have with our show and that product, our travels, being able to go out and throw those at people and engage in conversation. I am so excited to be back. I can't wait to talk to you guys in this next segment. Be right back after this break. .6 FM Yomaton, positive vibes of Winsome. This third segment, man, I told you guys the message that I went with while I was back in the U.S. teaching workshops. And again, thank you so much for the invitations, the opportunities, the love, the trust with the students, the football team, the Juvenile Detention Center, teammates. Hey, man, I really can't tell you how grateful I am. How blessed I am that you guys gave me those opportunities, and I look forward to the next ones. A couple of great opportunities coming up for me professionally, but personally, I had to keep those promises, right? And I think that's important. These are promises that I made when I was transitioning to retire to people, agencies, organizations. And when I was planning on doing so, when I just made that same decision to come back, I didn't want to not keep my word. And there's times I know you can't help it, right? The life gets in the way, job gets in the way. But whenever I can, I want to really try to keep my promises. It means a lot to me. Not just promises that I make other people, but promises that I make to myself, right? So those promises that we kept, those are confidence builders for me. And at the same time, and we all need those things to be able to build up on what we experienced, build up on what we did, and not just get stuck where you're at, but fight for where you're going. One of the coolest things that I learned from that experience is a lot of people have the same question. And one of the biggest questions that I kept getting back was, how do I start? One of my favorite answers is start where you are. Start with what you have. Start where you're at. Learn. Get as smart as you can about whatever you're trying to do. And then go do it. Try it. Practice it. You know, don't be scared to get embarrassed. Don't be scared to fail, because guess what? In the beginning, you're not going to be an expert or perfect. In the beginning, it's going to seem like a lot more work. But with repetition, with time, it's going to change. It's going to shift. You're going to realize that your whole world gets better when you get better. So this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm not sure if y'all were tracking that. Mental Health Awareness Month. And for me, that means a lot. Because there's a lot of agencies out there that I've learned from, sat down with, had to utilize, because life gets hard. Life is created to challenge you, to test you. Life is not created to be simple. And the craziest thing is, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. It doesn't matter how old you are. Life comes for you, right? And people are always saying things like, when life gets in the way, or so hard or so tough, it's built to be tough. And the thing is, the older we get, the more challenges we overcome, the more things we accomplish, the more things that we grow into, the experiences we go through, we get tougher. It's not that life gets easier. It's that we get tougher. And one of those trigger words for a lot of people is resilient, right? I see these posts. I see you, the ones that say, I'm tired of being resilient. Life is not created to be easy. Life's created to keep you on your toes. It's created for you to learn a lesson, apply the lesson, come back stronger, teach somebody else how to survive the lesson. It's been like this since back in the caveman days, I'm sure, right? Not that I would know. But it has never been designed to be easy. And with that being said, mental health, when you're talking about someone's mental health, and I see people post, I saw some guys long post this past week, and I pay attention to these things because I don't ever want to repeat something someone else is saying, especially if it's from my heart. I want to be genuine, authentic, and original. So when I'm reading some people rewording memes, when I'm seeing somebody reorganizing sentences to sound smart about mental health, and you know when people have never experienced those true mental health situations based on how they approach the conversations in the post. I'm going to tell you something. When your brain is constantly fighting against you, when you have to force yourself to motivate yourself in the morning, to fight to get up and go to work, when you got to find the strength to deal with just normal conversations every day, that's because your brain is working against you. Now, if you've never had those things like depression, anxiety, self-doubt to a extreme level, other chronic mental illnesses, PTSD, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. If you've never experienced those things, then the best thing to do is to understand them. Understand them. Because when you say things like you're supporting mental health, but you don't have an understanding of mental health, for the folks who are struggling, that's kind of an insult. So when you're saying that you get it, or you're all in for it, but when someone's reacting a certain way, or going through something, and you can't empathize with that person because you didn't take the time to understand what they're going through, even in the smallest of measures, then you're not really truly understanding mental illness. You're not understanding that human beings aren't all built the same. You're not understanding that all wavelengths in movies don't play the same. You see, you as an individual are the director of your own movie, but you don't see what's going on in the director's cut of the person sitting next to you. They could be going through all kind of issues on their set. Yours can be great that day. Theirs might not. So how do you treat people? How are you relating to people? How are you trying to understand what your teammates are? How are you connecting to people so that you know what they're really going through? Seeing someone talking about connections, but this person was obviously disconnected. Very interesting what I see these days out there online. And I try to take care of people. The whole purpose of the show, never to tear anyone down, just to enlighten and refresh the opportunities out there for people to get to know your neighbor. To truly love someone is to know someone. You don't have to be in their shoes, but you got to be able to meet them where they're at. And if you're not capable, if you're not willing to try to meet people where they are in their lives, then what are you really doing? Are you really trying to connect to people, or are you just focused on your movie? You see, the great thing about it is I've been blessed with opportunities to connect, not just to the folks I work with, but here in the city, in the area, with everybody I come encounter with. I put my heart on my sleeve, and I'm like, this is who I am. And the one thing that pulls me back now, if I notice that people are taking my kindness for weakness, I cut them off. I'm sorry, I'm cutthroat. I don't play, because that energy can be spent on someone else, right? So if I notice somebody's taking my energy and they're just manipulating or taking my kindness for weakness or playing mental games or trying to whatever, I don't have time for it. But I tell you, always approach those situations lovingly, genuinely. It was rough coming back, not feeling 100% myself to Okinawa this week going to work. And I was like, I just felt all over the place, right? Because when your body's trying to heal, your brain's trying to keep up, right? And my sleep was off because I'm coughing in my sleep. I just didn't feel myself. And not one time, I promise you, I'm going to say this. The only text, even after individuals heard that I was out pinning COVID results, the only time anyone asked how I was doing was to see if I was at work. I think one person asked how I was feeling because they heard through rumorville that I was COVID negative, but that had never been the case. I hadn't got my results back yet. So when you're trying to meet someone where they're at, and we talk about emotional intelligence and care, I don't expect me and other people. It's one of those cold, hard lessons that my mom taught me when I was younger. Don't expect you out of others. And I go back to telling you what I said a few minutes ago is, listen to me. Everyone has a different movie. You can only direct your movie. Your priority and your responsibility is to your movie. Now, people are going to see you. You can't control what other people see through their lens. But for your own mental health, for your own peace, and for your own peace of mind, focus on being the best version of you in your movie. That's all you can do. That's all you can control. It's you. People with kids trying to control what the kids decide to do. That's their movie. All you can do as an individual is try to plant the best seeds possible and hope they grasp onto the ones you really hope they do. Friends, you can't control what decisions. Friends, relationships, you can't control what the other person does. All you can truly control is you. So I say this to the folks who aren't friends with me on Facebook, and I say this to the folks who are. Be the best version of you. Be kind. Be genuine. Understand that even though you can't be in someone else's shoes, you can still try to meet them where they are. Understand that today, everyone's goal is not to be better than yesterday. Some people are very comfortable where they're at. Understand you can't expect you out of other people. So if you are a good person, don't expect that from everybody. You just keep coming, keep showing up as a good person. That's all you can do. Fight for your vision. Fight for your story. Because the crazy thing about life, nobody can tell you what's going to happen next. We just know that we get this one opportunity, this one movie, this one story. We know that for a fact, that when the lights go out, the lights go out. What happens after the lights go out, we can't call it, right? So what are you doing when you wake up every single day? Are you living your life to the fullest? Now, people say this, right? I hear this on podcasts all the time. Live your life to the fullest. Go all out. The question is, are you waking up and trying to get everything you can out of those hours that your eyes are awake or are open? Are you fighting your hardest to experience new things? Be kind to people, because at the end of the day, when you're gone, all that's going to be left behind is your legacy. Who you were, your character. That can be professionally, but guess what? You're going to retire from the job that you do eventually. So who are you personally? What kind of person were you? What kind of human being are you? Are you kind? Do you treat people special? Do you care for people? Or you focus on just taking care of you? There's nothing wrong with that if you're selfish. Sometimes. But you got to remember, it's your movie. How do you want other people to see you? As someone who went through life selfishly? Or someone who went through life giving everything they could to take care of others? Because they knew what they put out into the universe is what they got back from the universe. I put out kindness. I put out love. I put out positive energy. I put out genuineness. I put out everything that I got every single day, because I know if I do that, people will see this is who this guy is. He's giving his heart to us. And there's another show I like, and the Doctor Who. You guys, they got a new doctor coming. I'm so excited. I'll talk about that next week. But one episode, he was going through some of the craziest stuff. And the lady who ended up being his wife, she said, did you really think after all of these years, all these adventures, all of these times, if you needed something, that everybody wouldn't be there for you? You've been there for everyone. Do you think that when you truly needed something, we wouldn't be there for you? And oh man, it just almost threw me into tears, because he gave everything he had to everyone else. I've never seen a show where it was all about him taking care of him. So I love that show. If you guys haven't seen Doctor Who, I recommend watching from 2005, Christopher Eccleston on. Don't go back before that, because it's not our generation. It's the classic Who. It's still cool, but it's a little different. Watch it after you see the 2005 and on. But I will tell you this. Be strong. Be caring. Be loving. Be the best version of you. Fight for the best version of you every day. Keep showing up every single day. Put your heart out there. I appreciate you. I'm so grateful to be back. You are loved, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. See you next week.